listening to the podcast To Be Single or Not to Be by Shanna Montana, a podcast where we talk about the single life, dating, and relationships so you can make a decision at the end of each episode and decide to be single or not to be. That is the final question.
So today's topic is attachment styles. And I wanted to discuss this topic really just to educate the public on what they are all about, because knowledge is power on this show. And our ultimate goal is to ensure everyone under the sound of our voice every single week can walk away more empowered and more informed on how to create the best and most healthy version of the relationship that they desire for themselves. So sometimes we have to just keep it cute, keep it simple, get right to the facts. And this is one of those here episodes. So for that reason, along for the ride, I have some amazing special guests. And first, we'll start with somebody who's here for the first time, but I know it won't be her last time. And we have Miss Mikey. And just to give a little intro, y'all know this is something new to listeners. You know, we elevating. So, you know, we got bios and such. So Miss Mikey is a neonatal pediatric healthcare provider, a family consultant focusing on mothers who are postpartum. I love it. An awesome mom and an active, productive member of her community. So Mikey, say hello to the people.
Hey, y'all.
And tell them, I always give this moment at the end of the episode too, but tell them a little bit about your brands of Take It Off My Plate and Fourth and Well. So tell them a little bit about both those.
Yeah, so Take It Off My Plate. I came about that this summer. It just happened really organically. Me, a group of two women, it's a group of us, myself, Clan, and Zuri, here on the south side of Chicago. We're taking on tasks for other busy moms in the city and the community. We began doing it this summer with a doula group who were providing supplies when the pandemic first hit, and also when the riots hit. So there was a shortage of diapers, formula, wipes, like people didn't have anything. So we became like a portal through the community, like, hey, if you have extra diapers, if you have extra wipes, bring them. And shout out to Julian High School here on the south side of Chicago.
Okay.
We had a whole classroom that was filled like to the ceiling full of supplies.
That is so awesome.
With so much stuff. And then we wanted to take it an extra step and provide dinners for these families. So after that ended, we ended that at the end of August. And after that ended, we continued making food for moms. Just, you know, it's not necessarily moms who are in need, but moms who are in need of extra hands.
Exactly.
So, anybody, you know, we did that. And it really is like something that we love doing. It's really awesome. And Fourth and Well is my own personal brand of services. I'm finishing up my doula certification, postpartum doula certification.
Yay.
So, thank you. And I am starting a wellness journey for women, but specifically mothers in the fourth trimester, which you guys know is like after you give birth. Joy and everybody's so excited, you know, when you're pregnant, once the baby comes, but also we forget that the mothers need that support. And, you know, if the mama is not good, then the baby is not good. So, so that's what that is centered around.
I love it. I love them both. And we definitely are here to support. We'll be definitely shouting you all out in March for its next month. Well, look, I always tend to forget. I tell on myself that, of course, this episode is recorded early. But last month was women's, what is it? What's March? I'm going blank.
It's Women's Month.
Women's Month, yes. You know, so I'm like, dang, I'm going blank. So yeah, we'll definitely be all over the page, you know, moving forward and backwards. I get kind of confused, but two awesome brands that we are so happy to have you here and happy to support.
Thank you.
And up next, we have Miss LaKenya, who came on once before. We're glad to have you back and know you'll be back a few times. And if you all don't remember, she is a mental health counselor, and her passion is to work with communities of color and advocating for mental health in those communities as well. She's in a private practice, and she also provides free social emotional learning and support to Chicago public school scholars on the east side of the city. That is so awesome. I know there's some like social emotional support. We did not hear words like that when we were in school.
Right.
Like a little guidance counselor that did nothing. So,
right. And that was just like your credits, your school credits and stuff.
I was talking about your emotional well-being. So both of y'all are doing awesome things. So excited. So glad to have y'all in the number. So
Thank
today,
you.
you're welcome. We're about to get to it. So I want to say, I'm going to say this a little bit later. I'll give my disclaimer. So attachment styles. I'm going to say it now. I was going to say it later, but I want to give a disclaimer about this episode. You know, we're going to have some fun like we always do, but this is going to be an episode that is more like educational in a sense, because attachment styles is not something that I'm sure, you know, people just walk around talking about. And I stumbled up on attachment styles through a book called Attached. I need to look up who it's written by, but my testimony was I was dealing with a fuckboy. Y'all know me. So, and at the time, you know, I'm always trying to find, like, why is this happening to me? So I went and was doing all this research and I stumbled across this book. And at the time, I'm reading the book and I'm like, you know, really informative. But I found, and which I'll get to it, like what attachment style stood out to me. But mine was more so triggered because I just was in a bad situation. Like, I probably could have been the most secure person in the world, but because this was not where I was supposed to be, it put me in a whole nother realm. So all of that said, this is why I wanted to educate the people, because I don't want y'all to have to stumble up on information like I did. If y'all can get it on the front end and use it and not have to suffer through to get it on the back end. So that said, I'm not sure if people know like what the definition is when it comes to attachment styles, because and it's dealing with relationships of any kind. Today we're going to talk about romantic relationships for the most part, but know that attachment styles can be connected to, you know, family relationships, sibling, whatever relationships you have. So we're going to start at a really just basic level today and just lay it out really plainly. So if you think about this, if you've noticed a pattern of behaviors in your love life, you might benefit from digging deeper and exploring why you attach to people the way that you do, because it is a rhyme and a reason to it, and they are called attachment styles. So I just wanted to put that out there so the listeners can kind of know where we're coming from and what they need to be thinking about. So I'm going to start and ask you ladies, whoever wants to go first can, what made you guys interested in learning about attachment styles? Or did you kind of stumble up on the information like I did? I know, Kim, with you being a therapist, I'm sure you learned about it.
Right. Yeah. And we talked about it, a lot, but it was still more in the sense of like when you have a child and like the child and the mother kind of attachment style, or like the parenting kind of style, like the different styles of parenting. We really didn't dive into much of like the romantic. So my personal life, I had to have my own share of like fuck shit.
Yeah.
And like wondering like why do I always like get these type of people, like, you know, and really trying to do like the soul work. And I'm like, okay, you know, seeing what is in me and like what I need to work on. And I knew that my attachment styles were a little toxic, coming from just like my like me struggling with self-esteem and like experiences that I had. So I think once I started that soul search and then I think I got mine from podcasts and stuff. Like somebody ended up talking about like attachment, like romantic attachment styles. I'm like, this makes a lot of sense.
Like that sounds kind of familiar. Like,
I'm like, okay, this actually makes me not feel like I'm just crazy and all these crazy people are coming, you know, into my life because of that. Like, you know.
Yeah, like I'm not a magnet for crazy people. It's not me, it's them. No, I'm playing. So, Keisha, what would you say your journey has been with attachment styles?
So for me, I think that I stumbled upon it through intentional work.
Okay.
Just, you know, in therapy or reading books, you know, these self-help books. I'm like, well, why is that? You know, you always have to come back to, why do I feel this way? Why am I, you know, then it's a whole new sector of things you have to dive into. And that does, like, you know, then I realize, okay, I don't believe in none of it. I don't believe I don't believe in not being attached at all, you know. I feel this way. And but I believe, okay, I want to be connected to somebody. And I used to say this all the time. I want to be connected but not attached.
Yes, you have. I stole that quote a few times.
Yeah. I felt this way, you know, even before I started real relationships, like, you know, with a man. Anyway, I think that even in that, I had to realize why I felt that way just from the beginning. Yeah. And so, I don't know. I Yeah, my son.
Yeah.
I think that I think in trying to understand truly like why I feel this way, it came down to my childhood, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
just the men in my life when I was a kid, my uncles, my father, my brothers, like
Mm-hmm.
everybody doted on me. Everybody loved me so hard. And it's just like, well, this is how it's supposed to look
Yeah. Yeah.
for me. So it's just like when we were you haven't talked about the different attachment styles, but this is how I came upon
Yeah. You're fine.
why I am the way I am in
Yeah.
my childhood.
Yeah.
And that's where it's, and that's what I think for me, I tend to try to go back to my childhood. And I think, of course, I'm on the journey of self work, soul work, all the above. And when I haven't put it this way, I haven't connected the dots yet back to childhood because this may be good or bad. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. I feel like somebody men in black me. And so like somebody put the pen in my front of my face. And seriously, y'all, like before maybe like kindergarten and stuff, like I don't really remember a lot of stuff. And then I have moments where I remember things. So I'm like, I don't know if that's good or bad. So mine just kind of started, what I do remember was good things. So I'm like, that's why I'm like, I still want to try to connect the dots. So I think it's a journey that we all have to go on and it's never ending. Like I always say,
Yeah.
it's a marathon, not a race. It's no finish line, even though we think it is. And you have to continue to cycle through these things, including attachment styles. So right now, would you all say, do you know like where you sit right now in relationships with attachment styles? Because I think for me, ultimately, I want the whole world to be in the secure attachment style because I think that's the healthiest one. What would you all say in your journey right now? Which one do you think you veer towards? Because I'm asking you all that now because at the end, after we talk about them, we're going to do another assessment to see, like, am I in the right one or do I need to go somewhere else?
Right. So I think for me personally, I've always landed just reading the attachment styles, I feel like I align closely with avoidant.
Okay.
And it's all the way until the point of saying it. I hide my feelings and I avoid emotional conversations. That's not me at all. I
Okay.
think I'm somewhere on a spectrum between avoidant and secure
Okay.
right now. I think that for me personally, I've done it all, right?
Yeah.
And so within my group of friends, I really think that is, what brings me life, like my social relationships, my
Yeah.
friendships, that's really what brings me life. And I'm not someone I just don't feel this in the depth of my soul. I do not feel like the fulfillment of my life is through a relationship, a romantic relationship. It's just not. And reading avoidant, and it's just, that's what aligns with me. I'm not saying that I'm avoiding it though. I feel like should a secure relationship or secure situation come along,
Right.
then I would gladly, be present for it. But until it looks the way I need it to look emotionally, for a romantic partner to show up emotionally the way that I need, them to show up, then I will avoid it. And so that's why I do believe in staying detached because nothing is mine. No one belongs to me.
Right.
And I feel that way across the board on all relationships. And the way that I was able to really, truly test it or think that, is this really something, this is a way that I feel? I had to think about all relationships, not just romantic relationships. And the answer is yes. My children, my friends, my mother, my father, my man. I feel this way across the board. I have to stay detached because no one belongs to me. Nothing is mine. And the connection has to maintain. Now, should you become detached, should you become disconnected, is it hurtful? Absolutely. I'm not saying that. It's deeply hurtful if you lose a really good, valuable relationship, right? I'm saying that I just want, I just want it to be in a healthy way. It has to be healthy emotionally. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
That makes perfect sense. And that goes, what you said really resonated. And I loved everything that you said. And it goes back to an episode we had earlier about, it was dealing with partnerships and that your partner cannot complete you.
Yeah.
And with you saying that, it made perfect sense that, it's like we are connected to everything, attached to no one, that we have to be able to navigate through this world knowing that people do not belong to us. People are not promised to stay with us. People are not, we know our days on this earth are numbered anyway. So for us to have the idea or the notion that in life we're going to get things, aka people, and keep them to ourselves and have them perform and act in a certain way is just super unrealistic. So I think that if we are able to navigate and I think look at it that way, like what relationships are the most healthy for me? Which ones make me the happiest? Which ones do I feel connected to? Those are the ones that I want to cultivate. So I think it all aligns in that way. But I keep saying that because, the connected to everything yet attached to nothing, it just it's like I can visually see that and it makes sense to me,
Yeah.
And I think also, go ahead, Key, I'm sorry.
No, I think I just really resonate with everything my Keisha was saying too. I'm like, yes. And even when I think about my kids, like, well, my daughter, and then my nieces and nephews who I consider my kids too. But, my prayer for them all the time. And even as a parent, like that's such a, like, you really feel like, oh, I should be like so attached and so enthralled. And I am. I think my children are amazing. But at the same time, they are not mine. They are God's first. And like God, like they, God just blessed me with them. And really they're my assignment, on earth to, give them whatever they need here on this earth. But like they're God's first.
They are
And
not
that
my
made me
property.
feel, they're not mine. Like they're not. So, and then that helps me because this world is so sick and this world is so crazy that we don't know, like you said, our days are numbered. Even my child, like, I don't want to like speak that out. It feels weird as a mom to be like my child's days. And because that would still be such a pain and a hurt, but it's the truth. So how to like in a healthy way, prepare myself for anything when it comes to relationships, intent, like people, you do have to kind of have that mindset. Like, you're not my property.
And that's
So
also, that goes to another deeper conversation that people, because I've seen it with my own eyes for people I more so see it on social media. Let's say that, people say stuff about like my girl, my kids, like they talk about their kids like they are like a piece of paper or something. And that is a poverty mindset because sometimes when you are, you believe like you don't have anything else valuable in life. So you look at your kids as your property, you own them. And that's why a lot of times and I mean, that a deeper conversation goes back to like slavery and stuff where instantly, if you have a child that's athletic, oh, they're going to be the next big, NFL player, NBA player. Maybe they want to cure cancer, so it's like, it's a lot of different things, but that mindset goes much deeper, but it goes back to that whole thing about owning things. And I think, and sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes when people are in a poverty mindset, they don't have the healthiest relationship with themselves. So it's going to be a struggle for them to have that same relationship with their kids, or for them to understand that not just their kids, but people don't belong to you. People are not a tangible thing that you can buy and sell and exchange and use and all that kind of good stuff.
And I was one of those people who like didn't have a healthy relationship with myself, and so it took for me to have real hard conversations with myself and do that self-work, because after having my daughter, but even just going to like my attachment style, it makes me think about like, I look at my Keisha's and I feel so empowered by like how you're embracing your like attachment style in a way, because mine, I feel like I feel the same way. Like, I don't need these, I don't need anybody to complete me and like all these things, but I am fearful and I'm anxious. Like I will feel like my attachment style is like anxious and like, I think it was like disorganized and fearful, because I'm just like, I don't know what I still feel like I'm missing if people leave me. And that's just kind of like, I've never wanted anyone to like leave. And I've kind of had this like people pleasing thing. So like, then I'm like, is it my fault that you left? And like, what am I doing? It's like, it becomes this whole thing. And so I will like maintain a relationship that's not healthy. Well, I have, okay, honey, I'm not doing that no more. But I have maintained relationships that were not healthy for me, but I just was afraid to let them go.
Out of the fear of them leaving.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's something that comes with life, the work that we all have to do. Because I always say everything we do in life, we do it out of fear, we do it out of love. And most times we stay in unhealthy relationships out of fear because of what's going to come next. But I think in everybody's journey, you have to reach the place that Markeisha has talked about. We reach it at different times and it looks
Right.
different. And so you have to continuously work through that because I'm not on Markeisha's level either. I'm trying to get there. But I am look, and not a bad, I'm saying like just the
I don't, and I'm
awareness.
like, you know what, you guys, I don't know too. I'm like, is this the right way to be? You know,
Yeah.
and I feel like everything ain't for everybody. That's
Look,
what,
and
Right.
I always say I ain't for everybody.
yeah, and that's just how I feel. Like, you know, I'm like, I've had a friend with benefits that I've had more out of that relationship emotionally
Mhm.
versus,
Mm.
you know, and so that's why I come, you know, just like with these strong, you know, points of view
Yeah.
where I'm like, listen, it ain't got, you know, it ain't got to look like this. It ain't got
Yeah.
to look like, you know, the whole man here and kids and all the full family for me personally. And that's why I say everything ain't for everybody.
Show lane.
But
And I think what I mean by that is more so just like the awareness of that. Like you're aware of what may work for you, what may not. I think that will help a lot of people get more in tune. Because the one thing that in my journey, I found that I can stand true to, and I think this has been since I was dealing with men since I was a teenager up until now in my 30s. What I do know, fortunately, is that once I'm done with you, I'm done. I don't do reruns. We don't watch
Okay.
again. Ain't no second, like,
right.
you know, and like I always tell people, well, fortunately, I'm not in that space, but it used to take me a very long time, like Kenya was saying, the fear of people leaving, because I sat in that anxious and fearful seat for a long time. And what I now know is that, yeah, once we're done, don't look back. I'm not gonna be there. You can't come back over here. The door locked, closed. We got new everything over here. So
I
that
think
helps
that's
me.
a healthy way to it's healthy practices, right?
Yeah,
'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, like there's a reason why you got to that point. There's a reason why you are done.
precisely.
And if everybody ain't getting therapy,
And the help they
Okay.
need. Because I'm not your
then it's
therapist. I got
like,
to get my own help. So
right.
I have to be, like you said, it's a healthy practice to not go back and forth.
Okay.
Look, because we
Yeah.
all see it so many times and we've been there before.
I saw when you had posted that on your page,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh my God, this is like such a gem. And because those, like, I have a lot of friends who I went to grad school with and who are counselors, and, you know, just even other women who are like on their self healing work. And like all the time, we just feel like we have to hold like that space for each other when it's
Hmm.
like, sometimes I really can't for you, you know,
Yeah.
or I don't want to. Like I just did it for 10 hours straight, you know, talking to clients or whatever. And so I just need you to take a drink with me and let's watch Beyonce like Homecoming and dance. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't have to always like, I don't know, you know, I don't know, sometimes when you said that, it really resonated with me because I'm like, some relationships get really heavy like that. Where
Yeah.
it's like the time they call and we process and shit. And I'm like, girl, okay.
You got to do it on your own sometimes. You got to call your
Right.
actual therapist sometimes, sis. I
Okay.
cannot be it all the time. So that
Right.
is a great segue to go into talking about these attachment styles and what we think they look like. And we're talking from perspective for the people, you know, our experiences, but for them to know how to navigate as well. So just to let you guys know, John Bowlby, he was a psychologist who created the attachment theory, and he created the following, which we're going to break down in discussion. So know that as we talked about, attachment styles are created in childhood. That's where they stem from. Yet they show up in adulthood and they affect our adult relationships. So that's why we're here today. So the four styles are avoidant attachment, disorganized/fearful attachment, anxious attachment, and secure attachment. So we're going to start out with avoidant attachment. And
Me.
yeah, that's you claim that one. So just to give the listeners a little background, research says that the dismissing avoidant type would often perceive themselves as lone wolves, strong, independent, and self-sufficient. Not necessarily in terms of physical contact, but rather on an emotional level. These people have high self-esteem and a positive view of themselves. The dismissing/avoidant types tend to believe that they don't have to be in a relationship to feel complete. That does sound like you, based on what you said. They do not want to depend on others, have others depend on them, or seek support and approval in social bonds. Adults with this attachment style generally avoid emotional closeness and tend to hide/suppress their feelings when faced with a potentially emotion-dense situation. So I think that's both sides, because you were saying like you don't necessarily feel that way as far as like not having emotions, but the attachment side.
I'm extremely emotional. I'm very like connected to my
Cancer.
emotions. Like I'm led by my emotions. So that's not the case. And I'm vocal about how I feel all the
Yeah.
time, probably too much. And
No such thing.
yeah, and then with my social bonds, I feel like, I find fulfillment in those bonds the most.
Yep.
Versus, having a romantic relationship is not like the number one thing that's on my list to have. Should I not have girlfriends and friends around me, then I would probably, be a wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not having a man or a romantic relationship. With the whole like high self-esteem, I think I mentioned that comes from, just my family, men in my life. And when I was growing up, they would like, look at my beautiful niece, look at that, it was always like something like pouring into me. And I remember that, and I remember how that made me feel. And as a result, I do have high self-esteem.
As you should, honey.
To the point where, and not only men, but women in my life too. But as when we talk about romantic relationships, I think that I just, would it be nice? Yes, but have I come across one that will allow me to have like, the emotional space that I need, or for that person to be emotionally aware and bring that to the table? Not yet. And so that's why I say, I don't know if avoidant is a good or bad thing. It's just how I feel.
Yeah.
It's just where I am,
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, it's a journey, like you said, that whole social aspect of like the girlfriends, the friends, we know that's definitely vital. It's like, in times when, hell, for me going through it because of a relationship, it was because of the friends and the girlfriends that got me through it. Like, what would I do without y'all? So Kamora Lee Simmons always jokes. She used to say this on her show, Fabulosity. Like, she used to talk about her kids. Like, my kids are going to be here. You men, you come and go. So she's always say, like some things are the constant. So I think and we talk a lot about that, just the sisterhood of relationships, recognizing that, if wherever your importance may lie, you also have to have just other, I would say, spectrums of friendships and circles. And that's why you cannot be, even I'm all about love and relationships. And I have to have a whole podcast about it. But I don't think even if I was married that you can get so lost in that you forget about everything else or feel like everything and everybody else is not necessary to your survival, because it's literally that, So I think that I do want to ask though, do you think, in regards to this, and this is not directly to you, Makisha, but I'm asking for both of you in general, for people that may identify with this attachment style, if that's heavy for people, and you are able to differentiate to say, okay, this is where it falls with romantically, this is where it falls with my friends. Not everybody can do that. Some people just kind of lump it together. So do you all think that in this attachment style, is it a healthy way, or is it a harder attachment style to sit in and cultivate a relationship, a romantic one?
Well, let me just start because this is what I align with the most. I think that for me, I made, I don't know if it's healthy necessarily, but it's healthy for me. It's what works for me. And it's, it's just truly innately how I feel. It's not anything that I've ever switched on. I've been highly therapized about it. And I came in like, I may be wrong, but I'm probably right. But, it's not, I don't know if it may not even be a right or wrong thing. Because I know how, I feel like I know that it's to a certain degree of where I'm avoidant, where I'm not going to allow it to go into self-sabotage.
Right.
Which is something that I had to come to terms with that I was doing. I was self-sabotaging as well.
So what did that self-sabotage look like for you?
So if you come across a good relationship or something that has potential to be a good relationship, still avoiding, still saying, you know what, he's probably gonna not fuck it up anyway. So I'll just get what I can right now and enjoy it for now and, you know, wash my hands when he fucks it up. And also it is a strong defense mechanism, you know, just like I said earlier, you know, I've been through it all. I done did it, done it all. And,
done it all.
and, you know, I feel like I know what it's supposed to feel like in doing it all and feeling it all. I know what it's supposed to look like. I know how it's supposed to be presented. And so, you know, if it doesn't appear that way day one, I'm like, no thanks. Self-sabotage. You know what I mean? And, so that's why I am in between, like, avoidant and secure.
But I love what you just said about women recognizing that piece of self-sabotage if they don't show up like day one on the job. Perfect.
Yeah.
I know you gonna fuck it up. Let me get out of here.
I believe in things like expanding and expounding organically. You don't know, you know, what somebody else is going through and where they are. You know what I mean? So it may be presented day one this way, and things have to blossom organically. And if you stunt that, you know, because of the self-sabotage, then you're not doing anybody any justice.
Not at all. You're not doing yourself any favors if you're trying to find a partner, you know, on both sides of the spectrum. So I'm glad you said that, because I have talked with a few men that have told me that women are sometimes more guilty of self-sabotage than we like to admit. And I think that was a great way for us to look at it, because when you have been in, say, bad situations, I know for a while I sat in a jaded seat. And anytime I would meet a man, it was like, I know what you about to do. I got the playbook, got the T-shirt. Right. Let me tell you what you about to do next. You know, let me tell you what you're not about to do. You know, so it was like, why would a man want to stick around for that? Like, girl, bye. You know,
pushing me away. Like, stop.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And men have their part in that to play, because it's the same sad song all the time. Like, most Black girls can connect with Black guys, you know what I'm saying? And just having to build those defense mechanisms up because, you know, you just experienced one too many for the most part. But like once you get to a certain age, and that's why I love always being around you all, because you all are a few years older than me. But like, y'all show me that it is such like a journey and it's a ride. And even I remember being younger, talking to my Keisha and my sister, and y'all were encouraging me, like, do what you like, do it, like, go,
jump out the window.
You like, just go off the ceiling, like, let's go, you know. And I'm like, no. But it was like, y'all were showing me that, like, you can still do that, you know, and have your fun and whatever. And like those relationships. And I was like just wanting to be attached again to somebody so bad. And, you know, I wasn't living my life for myself. And that's a whole another thing. But I literally like traveled states for a nigga. And like, it's like my whole life, you know. And even now I think like, damn, I love dance. And I had like an opportunity to go to LA. And I didn't. And I went to motherfucking Iowa with this man, you know what I'm saying? Because I was so loved. I was like, I'm the dumbest.
Iowa.
You know?
Iowa.
Yeah, the Butte, Iowa. Shout out to I don't know what high school that was I was working at, but yeah. Like, y'all, just the dumbest. So it is like, just to tie that in, it's just such a, it's a real journey, and you have to know what works for you and like what feels right for you. So I feel you, like, Keisha, in that, like, you
come full circle, and
where you at in your journey.
Just flowing, and far be it from me to like interrupt God's grace by just thinking about a nigga. Like, life is so much that's happening in life. Like, you have to really do things for yourself, and you know, find the fulfillment for you. And it's crazy because like, even when in having my kids, all of that shit comes from a selfish place. I know I wanted to be a mother.
Yeah.
And it's here or not, I'm having these kids.
Right.
I mean, and I get, like I say, I will reiterate, everything ain't for everybody. Some people have to have the full package. Some people have to, you know, be a dancer and have a husband. You know, it's just not, it's just you really, really, really have to be honest with yourself in life and about what you want in your life and go after
Absolutely.
that. And if that's what you want, then it's all good. It's just, we're all different human beings trying to be.
I love it. It's
Trying to
all
be.
trying to be. So, on that note, give us one moment and we'll be right back with part 2 of this conversation. And we're back. So, as part of before we go on, one thing I wanted to say, we were talking about our journey, and Kenya, you were saying you were privy to conversations, which definitely is a blessing of like Makisha and your sister and just our whole group and seeing us grow and stuff. And so like about a month or so ago, I was around some friends and there was some guys there. And so we were having this conversation about relationships, because you know how that goes. And so mid conversation, one of the guys stopped and was like, "How old are you?" And I told him. He was like, "Ah, shit, but this conversation over with." He was like, basically like, she got too much damn sense. I'm not finna talk to her about this no more. I'm like, I'm glad you know it. Once you hit 35 plus, I'm not hearing none of that shit y'all talking about. So, and it was like some younger girls. I was like, y'all best bet gonna be to go over there and talk to them about what y'all saying, because y'all know y'all not gonna win this battle. They was like, "You right, yeah, that's just gonna shut it down." So it's like as you get older and and even I think some men know, because not all men or women are on the same wavelength at every age. Everybody has their journey, but it's just funny to me that sometimes men will be able to get the hint, like, yeah, she grown, and I can't play with her, and that's what it comes down to. So, would you all say before we wrap up, like really what the avoidance style is like? Do you all think that sometimes, because I've heard it makes me cringe when I think about it, that sometimes in this category that people, I would say women, because we're the ones that get accused of it, may come across as quote unquote too independent? Or is that a such thing? Look, King, I'm looking at you. You like, what else?
It's like I know nothing but independent women around me. Like, and that's kind of always been my world. So it's like, it's just mind-boggling. People are like too independent. I feel like it's an older thing now. I feel like the world is becoming way more progressive than that. Like
Right.
and niggas is letting women take charge. Like, they're okay with maybe, you making more money in the house than him. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that works in relationships and with, families and stuff like that. So I can't, no, it's independent. I-N-D-E over here. Okay.
Do you know what that mean, man?
She got a whole lot.
Right. You got a whole lot of shit. So,
and I think it's like more of like now women are showing that we it's not that old age shit where it's just I have my body to bring to the table. Like I have so much more than that. I may have my business I'm bringing. I may have real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are coming to the table with more. So in the same sense, especially in the Black community, I feel like it's helping these Black men kind of like, you got to step up to the plate if you want a real woman, because we out here working. We out here getting stuff done, So that's a whole thing. So that, but
yeah, and I would challenge any man who thinks that a woman is too independent. How did I get here? How did I get my independency? Like, I remember listening to someone, I think it was on Instagram, I think Amanda Seals, she was saying that I don't like being in this space where I always have to pull myself up. I don't like being in this space where I always have to figure it out by myself.
Yeah.
Or, not having the support that I'm supposed to have from my partner. I'm being pushed to this place. I'm being pushed to realize that I can do it without you.
Yes.
I'm being pushed to spaces where I have to figure it out because you're not doing your part.
You have forced me to the seat.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so when we do realize we can do it all by ourselves, then it's like, well,
now you too independent. It's like, okay, if I'm too independent, what you about to come in here and do? You gonna come save me?
No, I'm resourceful as fuck. And and you aren't. Or even if you are, you don't show up the way that you need to as a partner. And that's not okay.
Not at all. So I think, yeah, it's an age old term. It's kind of like when I said gender roles needs to be thrown out the window. It's like in relationships, I do what's best, you do what's best for the relationship. I think that whole too independent thing needs to be thrown out because how am I to anything if I've worked hard to get there? And I think ultimately the goal is for us both to be able to enhance one another's lives. So if you feel like I'm doing too much of something, so that means you want to come in here and save me, quote unquote, or you want to come in here and take over that. So now you can handle it and I can pull back. Because if you feel like I'm doing too much, why am I doing too much? Because as you said, Amanda Seales said, the great philosopher, I am, I was forced here. I don't like, I had to pull my trash cans around yesterday to the back. I didn't want to do that, but who else was going to do it? You know what I mean?
Why do I know where the trash goes? Why?
Why?
Why do I have to know that?
Why do I know what side of my car my gas tank is on?
Okay.
Why do I know this? Like,
No,
it should be an unsolved mystery. It should be a question that has like a question that has no answers. So
I should know how to shovel snow. I should.
No clue. Shouldn't even know what a shovel is. So
I should know how to get an oil change. But
none
I
of
do.
that. So we want to take let's change. Let's flip the script. Y'all talk about we too independent. Y'all need. It's a lot of things that we should have no clue that they exist. Let us be dumb, ignorant to some things.
Exactly. Like my grandma was. She didn't know how to do a damn change a tire.
None of that.
But it pisses me off, guys, because I feel like it's just like excuse after excuse sometimes with niggas, because it's like if I'm not independent and if I'm calling you up to pay my bills or to get my nails and stuff, then I'm a gold digger. Then you gotta watch them because they only want your money, all this shit. But then if I don't need nothing from you, then I'm too independent.
What's the balance?
What y'all want?
I told the dude that. I said I don't ask for enough.
Like,
what you say about Keisha?
I said stay detached.
Okay, right.
But I'm boom, pew, pew, right there.
Right. Or you see that, like if you see that I'm independent in that way, then you wanna come in and suit me. Then you wanna step up to it. Don't make it like it's an issue.
Oh,
yeah.
How I know.
Ooh, okay, now.
You trying to stay over
I just gave a nigga my keys to my house. Lord Jesus Christ.
Go okay. Trying to find my way back. Trying to find them keys back.
Baby, got them keys.
I'm gonna grab them back. Like, why you think like, where them keys? I'm like, I don't know where them keys went. Dang.
Steal them. You gotta steal them back.
Right, that's what I'm gonna steal them back.
You're gonna wake up, they off that key ring. He gonna get to the door the next day.
Oh Lord.
Listen, I've thought about doing that too.
I got a hard story. In my early 20s, baby, a nigga took his key ring off my keys. I tried to get in the house. That's when I found out I was homeless. He's homeless.
No, niggas.
I could not get in, bitch. I'm standing there like, damn, where my keys? Jingling, jingling.
He snatched them bitches right off.
Bitches off while I was in a deep slumber. Do you understand?
Quicker than that.
I learned, gotta be quicker than that. I learned from the best. Won't happen again.
Okay.
Ooh, that shit is funny now, but I wanted to swing on it, like air fight that nigga like Trey on Boys in the Hood.
Oh, real shit.
I'm sorry. I'm not lying.
I would have been in jail. Okay.
Snatched them back like
I didn't have a bandwidth back then.
To my house.
No, it wasn't my house. It was our house. Ours. Baby, kicked me out while I was asleep. That's cold. Just saying. That was some coward shit, though. I bet he would have told me to my face. It's written. No, look, let me get back on track.
Okay.
ADHD kicking in. Up next, we have disorganized/fearful attachment. So it says the disorganized type tends to show unstable and ambiguous behaviors in their social bonds. For adults with this style of attachment, the partner and the relationship themselves are often the source of both desire and fear. Fearful, avoidant people do want intimacy and closeness, but at the same time experience troubles trusting and depending on others. They do not regulate their emotions well and avoid strong emotional attachment due to their fear of getting hurt. Kenya, would you say you kind of fell in this category for a while?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did that show up for you as, other than moving to Iowa?
The girl, right. I mean, I think it was just really being immature. And, I'm just like able to And just throw this plug out here to young women who like, you know, I feel like really get you some elders, like some older women that you trust that can like tell you some shit. And like, you know, still the
And
women in
listen.
my life that, right, like I listen, you know, and they didn't pressure me in any way, but I had like, I could hear my sister voice and some shit when I did hear her and didn't listen and still did my shit. And then like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. But yeah, definitely just like, you know, very insecure, very immature, like, you know, I love you, like that whole thing. And then I would even be manipulative with it. Like, you know, I'm all in the mental health field. So I'd be like, I will harm myself. Like, if you don't love me, and like, you know, just going to like very drastic like measures. Yeah. Like, you know, and that being the norm in some of my relationships. Like when we got into it, you know, me and him will both be like, I'm gonna hurt myself and I'm gonna do this. And like, all these things, it was just so unhealthy and toxic. And once I had to just one, get older and like, you know, really realize, you know, what that was coming from for me, you know, because of course all of that ended up burning in flames. Like that's not a healthy relationship. So at some point it's just gonna go to shit. And so then you have to like realize, you know, what it is. So yeah, definitely in my earlier parts, even still maybe now just learning, you know, that's a part of my journey, letting that side of me go.
I think that's one of the most toxic attachment styles. And I think that that's one that I would probably say we experience the most. I would say with people I know, probably like early 20s and stuff, when you're trying to figure out who you are, because what they say, your frontal lobes aren't fully developed until you're 26. So I don't think we're making the best decisions. And I think that is just like, that's that love hate. Like, you know, our love is just so toxic that it makes us hate each other. And we do things to each other that makes us hate each other, but we still stay because we're afraid of being alone. Or we're afraid that you're going to go with somebody else, even though you toxic as hell. You probably need to be somewhere else. And also this may be your attachment style, I think. And what do you all think about this? Probably the one that you may not need to be in a romantic relationship until you can move past this. Would you all think this is one that stands out the most in that regard?
Yeah. People who experience this should definitely seek therapy.
Yeah.
And it's something that it should be more about inflection, like thinking about who you are as a person and why. It always comes down to the why.
Yeah.
For me, why am I parenting this way? Why do I feel this way? It's all, you know, why do I spaz out, you know, and want to hurt myself when you know, upset with this person? Is this person worth it? No. And nobody's worth that, you know. It's all I think the therapy, the counseling is definitely something that should be sought if you feel in that way.
Imperative. And that what you said about the why. I think the why is a question. And somebody said that many moons ago on an episode, and it stood out to me. And I I have to make a very conscious effort to ask myself why in a lot of situations when you are dealing with relationships and people, like, why does that make me upset? Why am I bothered by that? Why do I think that way? Why am I making that assumption? So the why list goes on, but I think that it's ultimately something, especially in this category, you have to ask yourself, why am I here? How did we get here?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And that childhood is still very imperative. And that's why it's so great for therapy. And like, even I'm thinking about how you're saying, like, we're not fully, like our frontal lobes aren't fully developed until a certain age. And it even made me go back thinking about how you said, like, when you were younger, you don't remember, like, maybe like your third or fourth, you know. And I think when you were saying that, I'm like, some of that is normal, but because research does suggest that until the age of 7, you're really living in a state of like hypnosis. Like you don't, like we're just literally downloading information down. If we don't remember it per se, you know, and so that's why it's good to like know, you know, go back to like the people that knew you when you were a baby or younger. It can tell you like things that happened around you or experiences, places that you did, because lo and behold, it will be somehow registered in you, you know, or downloaded in you, and you may not even know, you know, some of that childhood work.
I need to do that because I've had situations with, say, my sisters that are telling stories and they were like, you were there and I have no remembrance of it. You know, but I'm like, I think if I continue to have those conversations, it'll make something trigger for me to start to remember things.
Yeah.
It maybe connect dots.
where I just don't remember. My sister was telling me something about an event in high school that I went through, very traumatic, and I never even remembered it. I don't remember it. But in therapy, they say that your body will
protect your mind. Yeah,
protect you from trauma. You just don't even go, relive it. You're not allowed to relive it. Your body, like your mind is like, no.
Yep. That's like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it was crazy. This is kind of comical. Look at me, always trying to add a funny element to some series. I was going through, so I came across some journals because I guess I've been journaling since I was like 1. But I came across some journals of like high school, and I'm literally I kind of have had the same handwriting since I was in about 7th grade. But I'm reading it, and I'm like, so at first I'm like, who the fuck wrote this? I'm like, what was I going through at 13? Then I started looking at it and I'm like, I don't know if this is my handwriting. It was probably me just trying to not own that I had wrote this stuff. But it was crazy because literally some things that I wrote, I could remember, but it was other things. I'm like, girl, what was happening in your house that you wrote this? I wanted to kill everybody. So I was like, it was nuts to read that. And I swear, like now even I have like, it's a stack of journals from high school. It was like 3 or 4 of them. I'm like, I'm gonna go burn these one day because if I die and they come in here and find this shit, somebody gonna be upset. Let me burn these now before somebody come in here and find it.
Ready.
So that said, that's the attachment style. I think people, not that you don't have to do work in all of them, but that disorganized, fearful, you got to do a lot of self-work right there in order to come out of that one. Now, the next one, and this is one that I sat in, unfortunately, for a while. This is anxious attachment. And it says that for adults with an anxious attachment style, the partner is often the better half. The thought of living without the partner or being alone in general causes high levels of anxiety. This type of attachment is associated with the negative self-image, but also with the positive view of others. The anxious, preoccupied type of person often seeks approval, support, and responsiveness from their partner. People with this style value their relationships highly, but are often anxious and worried that their loved one is not as invested in the relationship as they are, because they're probably not. And a strong fear of abandonment is present, and safety is a priority. The attention, care, and responsiveness of the partner appears to be the remedy for anxiety. So I want to say this is the one I suffer from the most before being in my current situation. And I know it's not a place where, put it this way, I cannot fully blame all the previous trash partners I had for me being in that. However, they're going to get some of this blame. So I want to say... I want to say that I was just dealing with people, and this is why I spoke to a little bit at the top of the episode, that I was dealing with narcissists, I was dealing with gaslighters, I was dealing with manipulators, and I continue to choose. I dated the same 3 people back to back, basically. And that was insanity because I was expecting a different result. And so with all of these people, because we were not on solid ground, nobody wanted to make a commitment. So of course I'm anxious about that because at that time in my life, I went through a phase of like, I'm getting older. I don't have a man. I don't have kids. I'm not married, went through that manic phase. Thank God I came out. And I was like, at the time, with that being a thought of mine, you got a partner who won't commit to you. You definitely thinking it's like the end of the world. So what do? You try to cling more. I'm going to do more. I'm going to show up more. I'm going to give more. I'm going to bend over backwards. Whatever you want, I'm going to do it. They still not happy. They're still not getting you the result you want. So then you go into, well, maybe it's me. Let me go to therapy. Okay, mind you, therapy is needed, but you in therapy for the wrong damn reason. You in therapy thinking you're going to fix yourself when this nigga still somewhere doing a stanky leg. He not worried about it. He in at brunch turned up. So, so it's like, his life is good. He out here like Future. And you over here trying to do the work, but you're doing the work for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
And then the other part of it was you just weren't in an equally yoked situation. So it was a lot of, misuse and abuse, whatever you want to call it, because I feel like wasting my time is abuse. So it was just a lot of that for me. Okay. And that was, so that is something you said earlier, Mikey, you know what it feels like. So when I went through all of those shit shows and then I was able to get a taste of what like right feels like, I'm like, bingo, bitch. Like bing, bing, bing. Like, this is it. Let me let me stay in this lane. So it was like, yeah, the anxiousness for me, it's the anxiousness for me. So I was like, nah, I can't, I cannot do this. So that was my testimony to know that, anxious attachment. I'll just say that if you feel anxious all the time, you probably in an anxious attachment. Yeah, therapy, number one. You probably don't need to be with that person because they say it's not butterflies, sis, that's anxiety. So it's a reason. Yeah, you get, and I literally have, like, I think back to that story I told when that nigga took my keys off my key ring. When I used to pull in the driveway, y'all, my stomach used to drop. Like, I hated going there. But I would go. And I was like, this is like 22, 23, so I ain't know. Self-help, what's that? It's like you just in the throes of it. So then it got to the point I dealt with somebody, I would say in my 30s. And every time he would come around me, I would feel anxious, but not in a good way. Like, I know what the feeling is like when I'm happy to see my partner,
Right.
Your pussy tingle when that come up.
Okay.
But this is somebody else who he come in the room and it's like an uncomfortable nervousness. And it's like, why am I feeling this way? I'm not nervous around you, but they say your body talks to you. So it's like my nervous system was responding to this person coming around. And that was like one of the many clues where I knew like I had to get out like the movie. So yeah, I'm not tearing up. My voice just cutting up. So to you ladies, what actions do you think like a person, well, how can they identify if they're in like an anxious situation, whether it be personally or if they want to look at their partner? Like, what kind of triggers are there for a person to know if they're in this attachment style? Other than your stomach hurt every time your boo come around.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to that with the relationship where someone comes around and like the whole energy is just shifted.
Shifts.
And not only that, but you're now in a bad mood, or I don't know if it's anxiousness, but I'm just like, ugh, you're home early, ill. Like, and I don't know. Is that anxiousness? But I definitely can attest to the mood being shifted, just not feeling good.
The
when
vibe different.
Around. It's definitely something that you should get out of sooner than later, if you can.
I think also another thing for people to identify, and I think the anxious attachment is like probably the easiest one. If you have a person, like you have a partner that's really elusive, like they're secretive. And we talk about that in another episode, secrecy versus privacy, they're secretive, or you feel like you're a secret. The person is, you think they may be cheating. You think that they aren't giving you enough attention. A lot of things, this one I think comes down to like the normal things that we face when it comes to adversity in relationships. And I'm not meaning like a life event happen. I mean adversity, like people aren't being faithful. People aren't showing up for you. People are not supporting you. People are not loving you the way that you want to be loved, because Iyanla says that you have a certain way you want to be loved and you cannot make a person love you that way if they don't have the capacity to. Yeah. So I think for anxiousness, all of those things show up and will make you anxious, because guess what? You want it to happen. It's like if you have your dream job is coming up, and even though I don't believe in dream jobs, who dreams about working? But anywho, if you have a dream job interview and you are, you can't sleep at night because you anxious the next day you got it, or you was younger and the next day you going to Six Flags, you can't sleep because you excited because you're going to Six Flags the next day. That's a different kind of anxiousness versus your partner making you anxious because you just don't know what's going to happen next. You living on the edge. So
I was about paying attention to them thoughts. What are those thoughts saying?
I was say from a therapist perspective, what would you say to it?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's like, if, and also listening to your body. And I have been big on this now as I've gotten older, because your body does talk to you, but do we listen to it most of the time? Probably not, even just like on a practical level, like you keep eating that damn, pot bellies, whatever, and you steady going you steady going to the bathroom, or you up all night afterwards. Like, that's your body telling you that's not good for you. But yeah, like, and even just having those like anxious symptoms. So, feeling more tense, like your body is tensing up. You can think about it, like if you ever feel like you have to breathe to unclench your jaw, or if like your tongue is kind of stuck to I think it's the roof of your mouth. Seems like you're just like a little bit more tight. If you're starting to sweat a little bit more, stuff like that. Like your body will like do
Physical
all these kind of
things.
like, weird,
Listen.
things. Yeah. And then just definitely those thoughts and what those thoughts are saying. If it's like this person comes and you feel like, you can't be yourself, or like you gotta stay on, I used to call it walking on eggshells, like really like timid, like, can I do this? Can I do that? Think about if that's kind of the life that you want to be living in a relationship.
Nobody wants to
like,
live
is that even healthy?
You lying to yourself.
I'm getting just listening to all the descriptions.
Listening to
I
it.
can imagine living like this.
My stomach literally tensed up.
Yeah, like I couldn't imagine living like this.
No.
Like, it's crazy.
And people have. I have. I'm a testament. I have lived like that. And I was smart enough to not do it for an extended period of time, but one day is too long. So.
Oh yeah, like we all have been there for sure.
Yeah, it's but
I couldn't imagine just like being in the same home
forever. Just saying like, this is life.
Like, right. This is my
Some
life.
People this is life, and I'm going to just sit in it. No, we have to do better. And I would say, what I would just recommend that what you not do if you feel like you're in an anxious situation, don't stalk, don't cling, don't call a million times, don't try to force it. Get out. Go to therapy. Get some help. That's probably not your person. Do a self-evaluation. Go back and listen to seasons 1 and 2 of the podcast. Get some help.
Time with yourself. Yeah.
Get some direction. So last but not least, we have secure attachment. And this is my favorite and the one I fully desire for everyone to be in if they so choose to, because I think this is the one for me anyway, that gives the most peace. And so this one says characterized by difficulties with cultivating and maintaining healthy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong thing. A secure attachment style implies that a person is comfortable expressing emotions openly. Adults with a secure attachment style can depend on their partners and in turn, let their partners rely on them. Relationships are based on honesty, tolerance, and emotional closeness. A secure attachment type thrives in their relationships, but also don't fear being on their own. They do not depend on the responsiveness or approval of their partners, and they tend to have a positive view of themselves and others. What this reads to me is like, it's an interdependent relationship. Yeah. Like I'm not dependent on you, but I'm not so independent that I feel like I don't need you. It's like we need each other in the same capacity. Like I want you here. I desire to have you here. But if you're not here, I'm going to be okay.
Right. And I feel like that is where I say the avoidance and secure, like that's kind of where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And also just experiencing relationships where I want them to show up as secure attachments, but they just don't. And it's like, I'm there. Why can't you? I'm here, and they don't understand that you're interdependent. Yeah. Like, why didn't you call me this? And why didn't you call me? And I'm like, I'm fine. Like, it's okay. Like, we're good. Yeah. The seeking approval, all of that. And it's just like, I don't need, I need a certain type of thing. And, I want you to be here. But like you said, you can't force it.
You can't force it.
And I think a lot of times people aren't there where you are. Yeah. And so they don't understand. That's why it shows up, oh, you too independent. Mm-hmm. Like, you do this, or you're not soft enough or whatever. And it's just like, I'm just like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm actually emotionally healthy. Yeah. Or I'm working toward being emotionally healthy. I'm not going to claim it yet. Yeah. But I'm working on myself, and I'm not somebody who needs like all the hand holding. You know? So I would love to experience this, but if I can't get it the way I want it,
I don't want it at all. Yes.
Like, it's okay. Like this is something like you said that everybody should like want to have like in a relationship. This is just like the healthiest is what it sounds like. If you are into having romantic relationships with people, this is where it should lie, right here.
This is it. This is home.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, and another part of that is it really comes down to always they say doing the work to find a partner that's just the right fit. Because I think a lot of times the reason things don't work with certain people is because they are just partnered with the wrong person. Like,
Yeah.
chemistry, as I say, is a beautiful thing, but chemistry is not the end all be all. Just because you have chemistry with the person does not mean that you're supposed to be with that person. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes we'll go down that
Yeah.
road with chemistry. And then another thing we'll do is we will say, well, we've been friends for so long, or I just been in it for so long, so I just
Yeah.
want to stick around.
Yeah.
It's a plethora of excuses that we give, knowing that a person, also when we know that their views and what they want don't align with ours. Like, if you say, if you're a person that desires to be married, and I know I've encountered somebody that's like, marriage, give or take. Well, if I know that I 100% want to be married and this person is like, I take it or leave it, then I
Yeah.
probably don't need to be here trying to force this man to want to marry me.
Trying to prove like this is something that you should want with me. No. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
about that. so, so
Yeah.
yeah, I think it is the holy grail of the attachment styles, and I think that people have to recognize what I mean. I think that just being secure is a word. Secure comes from security. I think I don't know. I probably made it up, but they related. And so,
They
being
relate.
in a secure relationship means that it is solid. It's on good ground. That
Mhm.
it's most times not going anywhere. Y'all on the same page. It's not a struggle because I
Right.
found that relationships, they are work. It can be fun work. It can be good work, but you have to put effort towards a relationship
Yeah.
working. Even if you have two secure people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we don't read minds. We aren't the same person.
Yeah.
There are going to be some things that we differ on, but I think you have to just, when you are with this type person, if you're both secure, because ultimately you want to be in an attachment style with somebody that's in the same attachment style as you. Because if you're secure and they're avoidant, then that's not going to work either. You
Right.
got to be aligned in that way. I think when you both are able to be on the same page, it just makes life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it does. And I agree with you. Like people have to understand that, it's for me, when I think of secure attachment, I think of just two people, you know, living their independent life, but
Mhm.
then, just having someone come in along for the ride, accepting
Yes.
you as you are, and um, because you are secure, you're good, just coming in along for the ride, not trying to, change or
Yeah.
pick up where I left off here or change me or anything like that. It's just coming in along for the ride.
That part, because
I'm fine with it.
for me to be in a secure space now, and I would say I dealt with somebody that I would think, if I had to assess it, that he was in a secure space. However, he definitely came in and was not along for the ride. It was like,
Mhm.
you are secure and I'm secure. However, I want your security to look like this. So I'm going to try to
Right.
change this. I want to try to change the way you look. I want to change the way you walk. I want to change how you talk. I want to change all these things
Mhm.
about you. However, in the same breath would say, but I really just like, you're awesome as you are.
No.
Why are we
Yeah.
trying to change all these things about me that are not, it's not like it was core fundamental things that, I need to work on my integrity or some shit like that.
Right.
It's like physical things that you want to change, or you don't like when, if I raised my voice this one time. We don't do that. It's just certain things that it's like, these aren't things that help me with any self-development. These are things that you want to basically
That's a
build a bear.
controlling attachment
Yeah.
style.
Yes. Let's add, we're gonna make our new category. It's gonna be part two.
Sub attachment, like
But I think that,
control.
that brings a good point. I think even in the secure attachment style, people have to be aware that it can come across in other ways, because it can come across as somebody trying to control you in a negative way.
Right. Right.
Or it can come across as someone that they are secure and say you're secure, but they are trying to, women get accused of this more often than men, but men are trying to, and I guess this goes back to controlling, but they're trying to make the relationship look like how they want it to look,
Oh
for the
yeah.
greater good of what they
Mhm.
desire. And that may come down to it again. Yeah, that's what it is. It goes back to controlling, because I'm sitting here thinking
Yeah.
about whether it could be wanting to be in a family or wanting a certain profession or starting a business, like certain things that you don't want to do. We're secure in
Yeah.
what we do, and say, this is just an example throwing out there. Say we come in, we're both very financially stable. You want to open a business, but I'm not into entrepreneurship. So, it's not even about making me see the benefit of how we can build some generational wealth. It's like, no, I want to open this piece of shop. So this is what we doing. No,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. It presents in different ways, I think.
Yeah. You have to
Yeah, just
be,
the control. Like, no, this is my life's path. And
yeah,
that's what I was saying about just living through the flow of life and getting what you want out of life. And if somebody is there to witness it as a partner,
hmm,
then that's great. But, you're not going to change what I want. You're not
yeah,
going
not
to
at all.
come in, and you can have some influence. Absolutely. Like, we all have influence as
Yeah,
partners, as friends, as
yeah,
so it's not, you know, it's not about that. It's about the controlling aspect of it.
yeah,
You're not, if this is not in me to want to be an entrepreneur, you're not going to change me. Like, if
yeah,
we're going to do it together, we not. If
yeah.
we're not going to, it's not going to happen. It's fine.
And I
Um,
think we have to make sure, yeah, that's something I think to be on the lookout for. We talked a lot about secure being an attachment style to be in, and I definitely agree. But I think you have to be mindful that it can show up in different ways. So if a partner
yeah.
is controlling, don't mistake that for, oh, he just cares about me.
Mhm.
Not saying that he doesn't, but just know what kind of control, what kind of spell is that person trying to put you under.
Right,
You
right.
got to be aware of that. So,
Yeah.
on that note, we will be right back with the Living Single segment.
This now brings us to the Living Single segment of the podcast. It's simply a segment where we want to send you good vibes, good energy, and give good advice on any questions that you may have about being single, dating, or relationships. Remember, nothing is off limits. So, welcome to the Living Single segment of the show, and let's get into it.
All right. And now this brings us to the Living Single segment. In this segment, you guys know we answer a question that's been asked of us about relationships by the listeners, and we let them know how to proceed. So this week's question came from our Instagram at To Be Single or Not To Be, and it reads, I have been in a relationship for almost 2 years now, and I no longer feel appreciated. This may be unusual coming from a man, but it's how I feel. So here I am. I've always been what some call a quote unquote relationship guy. I like being a couple. I like taking care of my woman. I like being a man's man. However, as of the past few months, my girl has been acting real different. I no longer get the please and thank yous. I no longer get the random just because gifts, even though she is always requesting something of me. Sex has been dropped to a minimum, and I just don't feel like things are where they used to be or are going where they need to be. Again, I just feel very unappreciated. How would you all say I should approach this conversation with her? Because I am a communicator so that I still keep my relationship intact. Any suggestions would be appreciated. So this one wasn't too crazy.
Aw,
But it is interesting coming from a man, for a man
I
to say
know.
he doesn't
I
feel
just love that
appreciated.
he is like trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I love that.
So what would you say? What does his brother need to do? How does he approach this?
Yeah, I like that he's already kind of on the right path as far as having a conversation with her. Um, I would say just bring it up gently. If he
Mm-hmm.
wants the relationship to last, I think as women, we respond better to intentional work, like coming to us like, I love you and I care about you. Put your intentions out there. I want us to stay together. So I do want us to have this conversation around,
Mm-hmm.
how we can make me feel more appreciated.
Right.
So I think when you put it that way, like, who wouldn't respond to it in a positive way? You may not get the answer you want or get down to it. And if it ends in an argument or whatever, but at least you know that you are, being intentional about where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I would
I
say.
think so too. The gentle approach is always a good thing. I think for a person that wants to be there, one, and for a
Right.
person that's going to be receptive to it. My hope is that, he can have the conversation that she receives it well, and maybe it'll open up the door that maybe she just had something else going on that she hadn't told
Right.
him about or something. Maybe it's just something else happening and it's not something where she's like checked out, because an
Mhm.
unfortunate thing about these letters is that we get a snippet of the story.
Right.
So, yeah, I think too, since his question is around, how to approach it, yeah, I think the gentle approach is best. I think being very specific in what you need. I'm a person that I have to
Mhm.
write things out before I have a conversation so I don't forget anything
Yeah.
and to make sure
Yeah.
that I hit all the points.
Mhm.
Um, And then, like you said, be open to whatever she has to say, because you can tell a person how you feel, but you can't tell them how to respond.
Exactly. And I agree, as far as giving benefit of the doubt.
Mm.
Like, you don't know what she's going through. Maybe you don't know what she's going through. If she is going through something, maybe that's why she is like, kind of standoffish or not unappreciative. What's presenting is unappreciative
Mm-hmm.
to you. So yeah, just be open and giving benefit of the doubt, and being gentle. Yeah, if you
And
care
then
about.
the last thing I would add is that in this situation, if you tell her, and hopefully it's not anything where she wants to leave, is something that you all can work through, that you prepare to be supportive if
Mhm.
it's something that you want to support. So that's the other side of it. Be honest with yourself, because you're a relationship guy. So if she comes out with something wild, you like,
Right,
I don't want to do this. Don't stay just because you've been there for a little minute, if
right,
that's not what you want to do. But if it's something that you can be supportive of, or, something she's going through, try to put that hat on as well. Since you said you're a communicator, be a supporter as well if you can.
right.
Make sure of that. But yeah, if she, I don't
Be
even want to put no
everything.
hypothetical. What you say?
Be it all. Be everything.
All the hats on.
You got to be supportive. You got to be a communicator.
Yeah,
You
have
got to
to.
do it all.
Look, at all times. So,
At all times.
brother, there lies your answer. Be gentle, be prepared, be open,
Right.
but be honest. And,
Yeah.
extend the grace if you can. I always say give people the benefit of your doubt when you can, or if you haven't given it too much already. And
Hmm.
we hope that this helps. I'm gonna start asking y'all to write back and let us know the outcome, because we just feel throwing the answers and just throwing it at the wall, hoping something sticks. So
Yeah.
if anybody else has any questions in the future that you would like us to answer, please feel free to send them on our website, www.tobesingleornottobe.com, or you can send them on our Facebook or Instagram pages at To Be Single or Not To Be. And on that note, we'll be right back with the resolution. All right. And now this brings us to the resolution segment of the show. So, Mikesha, well, the listeners, Kenya had to leave us a little bit early, but we thank her for coming on the show to give her insight and perspective, which was amazing. So, Mikesha is going to close us out today. And so, we're going to ask the question: what would you say the resolution is to understanding your attachment style and then using that information to navigate into a healthy relationship, or navigate in your relationship to make sure it's healthy?
Um, I think that it all starts with yourself. Just remembering that, why you're a certain way, and being honest with yourself, what you really want out of your relationship. And also
Mm.
and seeking, that help for you first. And I feel like once you can do that, you'll align with a healthy attachment style. And not only that, maybe a healthy romantic partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
I think
agree.
that's the gist of
What Pop say, word of the day,
it.
therapy, not
Therapy.
job. Therapy. That is the key. I think, in order to navigate these attachment styles, because at different ages and stages of our life, we're going to go through all of them. And so our hope is that once we get to, I'm not going to say 30 plus, it may be 25 plus, whatever the stages in our life that we want stability and we understand what healthy relationships look like, that we've gotten the necessary help, which looks like therapy. It looks like self-help tools. It looks
Yeah,
like podcasts or YouTube videos. It looks like helping ourselves beyond the therapy session as well, to know,
right,
okay, this is the work that I have to do. And I have to show up also as the person that I am asking the universe to give me. So I
right.
want all these things. I need to be these things as well. And it's beyond just the dollar. It's much deeper than that.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I think that's the key. Yeah, the therapy is there, the self-help, the self-work, the information of knowing, go back and listen if you need to know which one do I fall under, so I can understand which way I need to navigate and where do I want to land. And I think
Yeah,
with that information, everybody can come out on top in the end. But the work never continues. So the marathon continues, in the words of the late,
right,
great Nipsey Hussle. The
right.
marathon continues. So I think that might be that. I might have changed the name of this episode. Yeah, that might be it.
That's a bit.
But on that note, again, want to give ourselves a round of applause to Mikey and Kenya for an amazing episode. Mikey, let the people know where they can find you or your brands, whatever you want to share, let the people know.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram right now at fourth, 4THAND well, WELL, Fourth and Well.
Wonderful. Fourth and Well. Make sure y'all go hit the follow button now. Even if you're not in the Chicago area, I'm sure it's going to be some information that can benefit you wherever you are. So we always want to support our Black sisters and everything that we are doing. So again, your opinions. I'll go ahead. You had something else?
Also, Take It Off My Plate at Take It Off My Plate on Instagram.
Just like it sounds. Take it off my plate.
Take it off
my
plate. Yeah.
All right. So again, on that note, your opinions are always valued and appreciated. We thank you so much for coming on today's show. And on that note, we'll be right back with the Montana Minute. And now this brings us to the Montana Minute. The first thing, get to know these attachment styles on a deeper level and reach back into your childhood so you can know where your journey really started. Knowledge truly is power in this instance. The next thing, once you know the attachment style you are present day, do whatever work is needed to move beyond it if it is not where you want to stay. And if it is where you want to stay, do the work to ensure you remain there. And the last thing, discuss these items with your partner as well. You both knowing where you stand when it comes to attachment styles is super important, and it's so important for you both to stay in alignment. So be sure that you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and if you have an opinion about the show, please drop us a DM on Instagram or Facebook sharing your thoughts. We welcome it. And now I leave you to decide, to be single or not to be. That is the final question. Signing off, yours truly, Shanna Montana.